guys, I'm back with another video. So today continues my college advice series. We are going to be talking about a topic today that you guys have been really wanting me to talk about, and that is college parties. So yes, it's lit. We're going to be talking about the turn up and the real parts of college parties. So parties are an enormous part of the college life, and it's like really crazy because you have no curfew, no boundaries, no parental control, and you're just really free to do whatever you want when you go to these parties. But of course it comes with so many other things than just going, smoking, drinking, and turning up. College parties can be very wild and very fun, although they can be very crazy. I remember going to my first college party. I came in like really fresh. Like I never drank before that. Well, not like that, but I never smoked, and like I wasn't a drinker. So I remember going to my first college party. This was before classes had started. You know, we were all there. It was my roommate's birthday turn up type of thing. I had my first drink and I was just like, this is so... ugh, like I just didn't like it. Like maybe it's just what I had, because further on in college I've had some things I'm like, okay, this is kind of good. I like this. What's in this? My first drink was like half a cup of Hennessy mixed with something else like Amsterdam or something. Everybody was mixing dark liquor and light liquor, and it was just so crazy. Like it burns. Like I took one sip and it burned my throat. Like, oh my goodness. I had only had a drink like maybe 1 or 2 times before that in high school. That stuff burned my throat. Like fire throat. Like think about the equator line on your throat. Think of Phoenix, Arizona in the summer, July, in my throat. It burned. I was probably a little bit buzzed because I was fresh, and also I was talking to like random people, and I usually go to parties, I just observe and record everything, but I was talking to like random people. I even gave this one guy my number, which is so bizarre to me because I'm so stingy with my number. The night ended pretty tragically. One of my roommates ended up getting alcohol poisoning. My other roommate was really drunk. It was just a very crazy night. Basically what happened, we went to the party. It was my roommate's little birthday. We all turned up. As soon as 12 o'clock came around, she was drinking. We were all mixing dark liquor and light liquor, and then my roommate kind of like disappeared, and like we were just like, okay, like where'd she go? Then my other roommate disappeared. We were in this house, and the house like it had like a basement, and someone came up to me and was like, oh well, your roommate is downstairs. And I'm just like, what do you mean she's downstairs? Like this house has a basement? Because you know I didn't know this. I was only in college for like 3 days and classes hadn't even started. So I went down there, and this girl is throwing up on the bathroom floor that's in their basement, getting it in her fresh weave. I'm like, no girl, not in your bundles, not in your Brazilian. I don't know what to do, because honestly, it might sound really messed up, you guys, but I'm not the type of person to help people when they're drunk or in need. Don't get yourself in that situation around me, because I'm not about to help you. Like, you're grown, you're none of my business, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, okay, Chioma, you don't know these people, they don't know you, you're trying to establish a relationship, so let's just try and help this girl. So I helped her and stuff. I stayed down there. I'm trying to like dozing off, mind you. I'm kind of lit just a teeny little bit. This other girl ended up coming and helping my friends get out the party. When we first came to that party, it was 6 of us in my roommate Brianna's car, and it was like all my roommates, you know, there was 6 of us total that lived there, but it was this other girl instead of one of my other roommates. Kind of confusing. We were all in there, we were kind of lapped up, and then we pulled up to the party. So then when that other girl came and kind of took everybody out the party and like literally said, okay, this party's over. This girl is literally like small, maybe 5 foot. She is so strong. Like she grabbed these girls out the party and was like, okay, it's time to go, the party's over. We're leaving, and my 2 roommates that were really kind of drunk, the one that was her birthday and the other one that I was kind of watching over, had left out with her. We were all up in the other car, and we were missing 2 people. So we pull up back to campus. This party had to been like 5 minutes from campus, probably not even that. We see like my roommate on the sidewalk. My other roommate who was in the car, who was direct roommates with the roommate on the sidewalk, had gotten out the car and went to go make sure she was good, because you know that's her direct roommate. And when you have like that direct roommate, even though you're living in a suite, you're kind of like really closer to that person just because you're sharing a room with them. She got out the car and she went to go help her, and we went to go park the car so that we could, you know, come back and help and all that stuff. I go back in my room, and I don't know how my other roommate, the one that I was watching over, I don't know how she got back in the room. It was past hours, so you had to go through the front and show your ID, and I don't know how they didn't realize that she was drunk. And I walked back in the room, and she's passed out on the couch, like throwing up on the carpet, on my carpet that I brought to the room, y'all. Me and Bree were like, oh, let's just make sure we can go see if our other roommate is okay. You know, we didn't know what happened to the other 2 girls, so we're just like, okay, let's just go back to the car. And as soon as we step out of the side door entrance or exit, whatever you want to call it, we see my other roommate laying on the floor, like sitting on the concrete sidewalk, her back up against the side of the building, like spitting up, and the police are out there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know this girl is not about to get in trouble. Like, she just turned 18, like, tonight, like today. I didn't want to like make it seem like I had anything to do with it, but I'm just thinking on my other hand, you were there, so if anything happens, they might put your name in it, so let's just not lie to the police. So the police is sitting there, and my other roommate, you know, her direct roommate is there, so it's now the four of us, me, Bree, and my other two roommates who shared a room. They're asking me questions like, oh, where was the party at? Who took you? So I'm over here lying out the side of my neck. Like, I was not about to tell them the truth about nothing. I was just like, I don't know where the party was at. I've only been in Toledo for 3 days. I'm a freshman. They're like, so you can't tell me around where the party was at? I'm like, no, officer, colonel, whatever you are, like, I don't know my way. I've been here for 3 days. I don't know anything. And they're like, so who took you to the party? And I wasn't about to tell them, oh, my girl Bree, and Bree was sitting there quiet. So I'm just like, this guy. And they're like, so you don't know who this guy, like, what was this guy's name? I'm like, I don't know him. She's like, so you got into the car with someone that you don't know and they took you to a place where you don't know you were at? I said, no, I know a guy that was in the passenger seat of the car. That's who we knew. The other person was just driving the car. Just straight up lies out the top of my head. And they was believing it because it sounded really believable. They were like, okay, I just want to make sure that, you know, there's nobody else at the party that's intoxicated or whatever. I just want to make sure that everyone's okay. You know, I'm just doing my job. I'm like, girl, bye. You're about to bust that party. Like, the party was over, so it doesn't even matter if I told her where it was at. But like, girl, bye. You wasn't, no. Like, I wasn't trying to snitch or tell anybody. I was just good at lying. And everyone was like looking at me like, good job, Chioma, good job. So we're sitting out there for like 30 minutes. She's like spitting up and they're asking her like, what's your name? Why were you drinking? You're underage. She's like crying. You know, I would have been crying too, because, you know, all that liquor make you cry. You know, she's getting in trouble. It's her birthday. She's just turned an adult. They ended up having to take her to the hospital. She had alcohol poisoning. So I felt really bad for her, but, you know, she didn't really get in trouble, and I didn't think she did anything that bad. Like, it wasn't a big deal. So that is my crazy college party, my first college party story. It just made me never want to drink because I didn't ever want to be in that situation. So I didn't really drink like that. Still never smoked. And I was just like, okay, like, let's just be chilling. Let's just look at what other people are doing and then me stay over here and not worry about what other people are doing, because, like, I didn't want to be in that predicament ever. So with that, there are some tips that I want to tell you about college parties and just letting you guys know some things to keep in mind when you go to college parties. So tip number one is to know your limits. So if you want to drink or smoke or do whatever it is, pop pills, stick a needle in your veins, make sure you know your limits. Chances are you've already been drinking or smoking or doing whatever before you came into college, and you know how far you can go. Don't get pressured and hyped up once you get to college now that you have like this outstanding freedom and go past your boundaries, because you don't want to be that girl or that guy who ended up being intoxicated or overly intoxicated and overly drunk and sloppy and throwing up in front of everybody at the party. And then especially if you're a freshman, it is not a good look at all. You just want to know your limits. I've seen my own roommates or my own like friends that I made in college like throw up at parties, and then people just be looking at you because, you know, if you're roommates with somebody, people kind of know because you're always going to be around them, and they were just looking at me like, are you going to help her? And I'm just like, no, like, that, who is that? And you just end up becoming the laughing stock, and people make fun of you, and like, I mean, it dies down after a while, but you just don't want to be known as that girl. You really don't. Like, I'm telling you guys, don't be known as that girl. Know how to control yourself, because you don't want to be that freshman who went crazy and ballistic at a party and everyone's going to be talking about you. It's like you're going to be really embarrassed, and sometimes you might even get blacklisted from things. So like, people going to be like, oh, don't invite her because she can't handle her liquor and she can't do this. So tip number two is to always use the buddy system. I want to stress this a lot. College is different. Like, it's a campus. You're in a large place, and then when you go to parties, they're usually off campus in like clubs or like venues or maybe a house party. And you know, these frats and these sororities, they like to throw their little parties. I know there was one time that we went to like an alpha party, and it was like in a house, and we came in there pretty deep, and you know, we were able to make sure we knew exactly where everyone was and what everyone was doing, and we didn't lose anybody. Anytime you leave out, you need to have at least one other friend to be with you so that you guys can kind of monitor each other. If you want to go out in groups, it's even better, because if one thing happens to one person, you have the whole rest of the squad or the posse to take care of that person or make sure that person is cool. Literally, you just need an acquaintance because it's for your own safety. You never want to go out there by yourself or go out there with someone who's unreliable. Y'all, one time I went to a party and they got to fighting and throwing bottles, and it was a crazy brawl. I might just insert a clip. It was in one of my old vlogs.
Are you kidding me, people?
And my friend left me, and I was in heels, and I was like looking really cute, and they were all fighting, and it's kind of hard to run in heels because I've been standing at the party for hours, and she legitimately left me there, and I was looking for her, and she was outside in the car. Tip number 3 to keep in mind is that there's always going to be drugs and liquor at every party. So at every college party, it's always going to be drugs and liquor. Me being in high school, people start to smoke and drink, but for whatever reason, I never really got into it. And when I threw parties, it was never drugs, never liquor. It was always juice and cake and stuff like that, and soda and chips. 99.9% there's always going to be liquor and weed or whatever at every college party. You'll be able to drink or smoke or turn up and be lit at every party because that's just the norm for college parties. Peer pressure is going to be at an all-time high at college parties. Do not feel like you're exempt because eventually you will give in. I remember one time we were all as a big group. It was like a big co-ed group. It was like hella girls, hella guys, and we were walking to this IOTA house party. Everyone was like, oh, do you want to go smoke after this? And they were like, oh, you coming? I'm like, nah, I don't smoke. They were like, what? Like, they was looking at me like I'm crazy. And they were like, you drink? I'm like, no, not really. They're like, so what do you do? So like eventually, maybe like 6-7 months down the line, I ended up, you know, trying smoking, and I just realized it wasn't for me. Peer pressure is going to be at all-time high. Don't feel like you're exempt. Eventually you're going to give in. Just trying stuff because you want to try new things. You don't have anyone to tell you no. So just know peer pressure is going to be at all-time high. This goes for drinking, smoking, doing other types of drugs, leaving at times that you should be studying, going further sexually with a guy or a girl. It's not just the little stupid little drinking and smoking. It's other things. It's crazy. You're on your own, and the peer pressure is definitely going to be there. Also, with it being always going to be liquor and drugs and the peer pressure, just know that there's always going to be someone who is going to try and take advantage of you. Now, us pretty girls know, you know, you come into the party and now all the guys want to talk to you and they want your number and they want to hook up with you after the party because they think that you're just that fast. And you know, I'm not like that. We're not like that. The queen team isn't like that. You know, it's always going to be someone that's going to try to take advantage of you. I've witnessed one of my roommates getting her drink roofied or, you know, contaminated with something. So just always know that you gotta keep your eye out for the people that's trying to take advantage. That's why I'm like really heavy on don't go over your boundaries, because if something happens to you, you're not even gonna know what hit you. If you have a cup, always walk around with your cup like this. Don't leave it unattended. You girls know the usual. For whatever reason, when we get in that party mode, we don't really realize what we're doing, and you just want to be as safe as possible. There's always going to be some type of person trying to take advantage of you, whether that means give you more drugs or give you more liquor so that you can end up doing things with them, or roofing people's drinks is really big. I've seen it happen, and it's really unfortunate to the girls and the guys that it happens to, because you're just unaware of your surroundings and what happens, and you just want to protect yourself as much as you can, but also be aware that it can happen to you. Tip number 4 is to remember, this is college. It's only so many people that's there. You're gonna eventually see the same people at every party. A party will garner the same type of individuals, and the campus is only so big, so you're gonna eventually start to see the same people at every party doing the same things. It's gonna become extremely redundant. It might be turned for the first 3 to 5 parties. Once you hit your 6th party, it's like, okay, this is the same thing, the same people, the same DJs, the same music, the same party promoters, the same bitches, the same niggas, the same liquor, the same turn up, the same songs at the parties. It gets really redundant. So don't think that you're gonna come in and you're gonna be turned and lit all the time. One of my homegirls goes to a school that's top 50 party schools in the entire country, and she says it's the same thing. The 5th and final tip that I want you guys to know about parties is that parties can drastically affect your schoolwork. I mean, this is just straight common sense, but for whatever reason, when you're in college, you have a lot more time to kind of do your work, so you don't really notice it until you get that first test back and it says F, and you realize, okay, like I need to like get my life together like now. You just need to know how to balance. Smoking and drinking can really impair your judgment and making decisions. In college, a lot of times classes run from Monday to Thursday, and then Thursday night begins the weekend, and you don't have class again until Monday. The weekends are a little bit more extended, so a lot of people will go out on Thursday nights and then just be like, oh well, I have the whole weekend to do my work because now I have 3-day weekends instead of 2-day weekends like I did in high school. When it comes to college, it's a lot more rigorous schoolwork. It's a lot of harder coursework and a lot of material that's a lot harder to grasp. So some people just don't get it until it gets them. Your schoolwork is what you're paying thousands of dollars for, not no nasty cheap liquor and some $10 dime bags of weed. So that is it for this video. I just want you guys to keep in mind that college parties, yes, they are lit, but there's some things that you have to keep in mind. Eventually, you're going to start to see the same people. It can really take a toll on your schoolwork. There's a lot of influence, a lot of peer pressure, and it's just a different type of scene compared to high school. Like, a lot of people will be in high school and they'll go to like college parties that are around like where they live, but the difference is you mainly know those people and you're familiar with that environment. Once you step out of your county or your town or your state, it's just a whole different thing because you don't really know anybody where you're at, and it's just a different like dialect of like the way how people handle themselves. So just keep in mind to know your limits, use the buddy system, know that there's peer pressure, know that it's probably going to get really repetitive and it can take a drastic toll on your education. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow me on Snapchat for more behind the scenes college makeup, story times, and all of that crazy stuff. And I'll see you guys back for my next video. Bye guys.